Hospitality Meets is brought to you by RotaCloud, the simple workforce management software for hospitality teams. RotaCloud lets you create and share rotas, record attendance, and manage your team's annual leave, all in less time than it takes to make a brew. It can also make life easier for your staff, allowing them to check their rotas, request holiday, and even pick up extra shifts, all through the RotaCloud mobile app. Start your 30-day free trial today by visiting rotacloud.com/Phil and find out how much easier managing your team can be. Welcome to Hospitality Meets with me, Phil Street, where each week we take a light-hearted look into the stories and individuals that make up the wonderful world of hospitality. Today's guest is Caroline Ottoy, Managing Director of modern coffee gods WatchHouse. Coming up on today's show, Caroline tells us of one of her greatest skills.
I'm a really good waitress. I'm pretty good. I can do a big section.
Phil talks of a very different time.
There was quite a lot of jiggery poker used to go on.
And Caroline tells us the greatest and most relatable hospitality story of them all.
We didn't really know what we were doing at the time, and we were just really finding out as we went along.
All that and so much more as Caroline chats us through her epic journey so far. I can't tell you how much I love this chat with Caroline. It's got heart, humour and so much gold. So please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a like and a share wherever you can. Enjoy.
And a massive Hospitality Meets welcome to Caroline Ottoy.
Oh, thank you. Great to be on your podcast.
I thought you were going to say great to be here,
I know.
but we're in your office.
That's true. Great to be in our office.
Indeed, yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Yeah, doing really well. Busy. Just got back from New York last week. So yeah, over with the team, opened our third house out there. So in Park Avenue South, actually, and just went over and had our Core Value Award celebration with the team. So it was, it's really great to celebrate. The team is about. I think we've got over 100 people over there now. So it was really, it was great.
Growing.
Really great. Yeah, really great. They're amazing. We've got a really good bunch of people out there. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, we should probably tell the world what it is that you actually do.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm just
No, sorry. We always do this. Sorry.
Babbling away. Yeah. So I'm managing director for WatchHouse. WatchHouse is, for those of you that don't know it, is a specialty coffee. I suppose we are a chain now.
How many are you at now?
We are at total now. You're going to 29.
Wow.
29. We've got 3 in the US and 1 in Dubai. That's franchised, and US and UK are owned. Right. So so we're growing, and then we've got plans to in the next 2.5 years to get to 100 watch houses globally. So that's really exciting.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness.
We're busy.
See, this is the thing for me, and this is why I'm so delighted that we're having a chat for many reasons, not just this. But the the world is burning down at the moment, so we have to find the pockets of joy, and to hear. Because I love your brand. I have spent some time in your Liverpool Street. It's just around Liverpool Street.
We've SMA. Samaris at Spitalfields?
Yes, that's the one.
We've got a few around there, yeah.
And now coming into your office for the first time as well. Like it is just the feel of these places is just somewhere you want to be.
Oh, thank you.
Backed up by brilliant coffee. I mean, what's not to love?
Well, I hope I've made your coffee today. I'm a bit concerned of.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. That's fine.
I need a bit more training
really
from our amazing baristas. I think that's our head of coffee just walked in, so I should have got him doing it. Thank you for that. I mean, Roland, our founder, our visionary, he's just. I mean, it's his vision, and I'm here. As you know, you're welcome. EOS, which maybe we can talk about. So I'm an integrator of his vision, and his just attention to detail. That's one of our 3 uniques: detail, design, and experience. He is absolutely on point on design, and the watch houses are beautifully designed. Because of him, it's his vision. So I feel very proud to be part of that. So thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah. Right. Well, we will talk more about WatchHouse in the fullness of the discussion. Okay. But actually, what I want to do first of all is take you all the way back to the beginning. And how did you get into hospitality in the first place? When did that present itself to you?
Oh, wow. This is a very long time ago.
2, 3 years?
Oh, yeah, a couple of years ago, So if we're going right back to the beginning, I was, A-levels, I did maths, physics, chemistry and S-level physics. And I was just all for going to do straight chemistry at university, and I thought, that's what I want to do. I was also looking at doing sports science. I was, county netball, hockey, and I was very focused on that. And then I lost my way a bit in my A-levels, I think, and it's always to do with the boy, isn't it? Met a boy, didn't quite make my grades, and then ended up taking a year out, and probably sort of lost my I don't know, my mojo, my drive was working, earning money. And then my mum said to me, basically, that this isn't happening. And she literally found me a place at university and was like, you're going. And it was at Seal Hayne, which was an agricultural college in Newton Abbot in Devon. And it was actually part of Plymouth Uni, and she found me a course that was hospitality, international hospitality management.
Right.
So she's like, you're going, packed me up, drove me down, and I was like, oh, literally turned up at this place.
So it's almost literally like any course will do type
she was like, you are not, like, you were, I was working at, working at, for a long time ago, anyone that remembers, it shows how old I am, Olympus Sports. So yeah, that's...
I remember it too.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
so I was working in there, and I was working in a nightclub. Actually, funnily enough, the nightclub in Canterbury where the outbreak of meningitis came from. It was called Studio 3 at the time. Yeah, I don't know if that's relevant, but that was a long, long time ago. I was doing that, and I was earning money. You know, it was. But I just,
It's quite infectious, actually, earning money.
I know, and I just, because from being really driven and, you know, wanting to get great, it just, Anyway, so she was like, right, you're going. And then so I turned up, and it was this agricultural college, because they were doing, they were doing straight agriculture and estate management, and it was literally on a farm, and they just introduced tourism and hospitality management. So
because it's a natural progression.
I know.
And do you know, weirdly, our journeys are quite similar here.
Are they?
So rather than boys, I found girls. I was always into sport. Wanted to go to, I did leisure and recreation management at an agricultural arm of Glasgow University.
No.
Yeah.
How weird.
Scottish Agricultural College. And it was, it's now flats. It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Seal Hayne is now, it was beautiful building that it was based around. I don't know what it is now, whether they probably sold it into amazing hotels or something. I don't know, God knows what it is, but it's no longer. But yeah, so I was like turned up, literally, you know, in the bar. They were like, here's a yard of ale. And I was like, great, this is great. You know, found that I could down a yard of ale, and it was all great.
You got the job.
Yeah, that's it. And I just had, it was 4 years, and just the best time. Like it was amazing, and I had a year out in France. Graduated with a BSc honours in international hospitality management, and it was business management really. There was a lot. You did a little bit of hospitality. There was like a hotel college in Torquay that we used to go to and do a bit, but then a lot of it was all like business management. Went on, did a year in France, worked in France for a year in a hotel, which was brilliant fun. Fluent in French because of that.
Really? So not before, it's kind of pigeon school French.
No, yeah. And also that's what you could choose, like you could choose to do international, and that meant you had to do a French module as well. So I had to pass, it was like I had to do, I don't know, what equivalent of a French A level. So, but obviously working and living there for a year, you just come out and you just, that was really good fun.
Which part of France?
So it was in Brittany. So it was in Saint-Malo, and it was one of the, I think it was the Campanile hotels that we were there.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, crazy times, but good, hard work. I mean, it was a lot of work, doing a lot of, manual stuff in the kitchens and, waitressing and cleaning rooms. But I was there with a friend as well that was doing the same course. So that was great. So did that.
Did you find that to be like was there any part of you that felt like, oh my God, I need to go home, or were you homesick in any way, or was this actually something that might have been like a bit of the making of you?
I think definitely. No, not homesick. I mean, and they actually asked us to stay on and work. So when we finished, they were like, we're going to pay you, because obviously they got free labour, and we were actually really bloody good. I'm sorry, like I am actually, people that know, I'm a really good waitress. I'm pretty good. I can do a big section, and actually, they got a lot out of us for they don't have to pay anything really. I think the university paid or whatever, and our kind of living expenses, and they gave us a tiny little room that we were in. And actually, I think we worked hard, but we partied hard. Like we were finish work and go out all night to the nightclubs and then come straight back into work. It was fun but hard work, and I think we had the best time. And actually, the only reason we didn't stay on was because the owner, I mean, he probably doing what he's doing now, was slightly inappropriate, and was being a little bit, I thought, okay, we're not quite comfortable here. Yeah. So we thought, no, we're going to go home. Nothing happened, but he was,
so a little bit overfamiliar.
Yeah, so I think that's probably the reason why. And actually, we actually considered staying in France for the summer and getting some other jobs, but we just ended up not doing it. But brilliant, really great experience. I think actually, just for me, just not for everyone, but just the whole university experience and doing that was definitely the making of me. Like, and obviously I've got best friends for life. Like, we've got a group of core friends. Actually, a few, are coming over here. Actually, one lives in Italy, and we're all meeting up here. And actually, Roland's kindly let us all, stay in the flat upstairs.
Oh, nice.
Which is really nice. And we're all meeting, and we stay in touch. And loads of them are farmers still as well. So it's listening to their struggles, and it's it's difficult for them. And I hear it straight from them how difficult it's been and challenging for them. But the most amazing experience, 4 years of my life, amazing friends, and I'm so glad my mum said to me that day, this is what you do. I don't know where I'd be, but then I think obviously how I then got into hospitality because of that was obviously from Canterbury, and I needed to earn money, pay off student loans, and so in the holidays I looked for a waitressing job, and we walked into this restaurant in Canterbury High Street. There was not much on the High Street then. There was probably maybe Pizza Express, and I don't know whether Café Rouge was around then. It might have been. It's like 1997 or 6 or even before that. I can't.
Certainly Café Rouge was, because when I did my induction training with P&O,
was it? Yeah.
I remember. It's funny stuff you remember.
I know.
I remember because I was an island boy, so I grew up on an island. You're a little bit removed from reality. Yeah. You don't know what's going on in the world. We do occasional visits to the mainland, but you only go to the places that you're familiar with and you know. And I remember going to induction training. I was staying in a hotel opposite a Café Rouge. Yeah. And I went, I'm just going to go out on my own. I'm just going to go out for food, steak and chips at Café Rouge up the road.
It's good, isn't it?
It was amazing. Blew my mind. And then when we came back as a massive group later, I was like, let's go to Café Rouge. Yeah. It's like the most amazing thing. I thought it was this little neighbourhood restaurant, not realising it was this massive chain.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. I kind of remember that because I remember, obviously, I'll talk a bit further about Ask Expansion, but then going around and opening, there was only really kind of the three of us going around opening. But then, I walked into this ASK, and I was like, this is really nice. And it was this beautiful building. So there were three of us, my three friends that I've known from school. We were all needed a job. So we walked in and said, can we have a waitressing job? And I remember meeting this guy called Omar, and everyone called him Mr. Omar. And he was great. He was this Turkish guy, really beautifully dressed, like just so immaculate, really, stylish, just, really, hair was just immaculate, and just always just smelled this amazing kind of aftershave, just really, charismatic, everything. We met him, and he was like, I'm not going to do his accent because we used to go, let me tell you. And so he gave us a job, and then that was the start of ASK. So waitressing, brilliant. It was a time where you basically got like $3.50 an hour, but you kept all your tips. So, there was literally all your tips just came to you. So you just got loads of cash, anything that people gave you got. So we just made all our money in tips, paid off loads of debt, literally worked through the summer, had the best time. And that was the first ASK out of London. I think that was number 3. And so just carried on working through uni to pay off bills. And then when I graduated, Mr. Omar said, do you want a management job? And I was like, well, yeah, let's do this. So started my training in Canterbury, and he said, we're opening in Bristol, in Park Street in Bristol. Will you go and be the opening manager? So that's kind of where it all started. So went and opened that. I think there might have been a couple more in London then, but there was probably only like 4 or 5 ASKs, obviously very, very early stages at that time. And beautiful buildings. They did things really well.
For sure. Yeah. And there's so many mirrors in our journeys, but for different reasons on this occasion. One, I always thought it was Ask, by the way. But there we are. That's just me. Island boy, then on a ship. Yeah. So knew nothing about anything, still don't. But I also did I wasn't even really a student exchange, but in the second year of my degree, I went to the US and did a summer in the US.
Oh, that's cool.
And the reason why I asked you about the homesick thing was because I didn't feel homesick at all. It was the first time. I'd done a trip like a few years before, and I remember feeling quite homesick, and I thought, am I going to be that guy? Yeah. Am I always going to have this pull? Yeah. I just didn't feel it at all. And I went out with a mate, and he ended up having a massive barney with the chef. We were working for a local entrepreneur who had 3 diners and a motel, and we were just dog's bodies. So we just went where we were told. Yeah. And he had a massive barney with the exec chef, to the point where he said, right, I'm going to go. Are you coming? And I went, no. I'm having too much fun.
happy.
And so I worked like a dog for the rest
Yeah.
of the summer as the number 2 to the MD. And I don't mean that in hierarchical terms,
Yeah.
but basically his gopher.
That's
What
so
do you
cool.
need?
Yeah.
And I learned so much in that as a 19-year-old.
Where was it in the US?
Lavallette in New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, down the East Coast. It was a gorgeous little town. He always said to me, because I couldn't drive then, but I was driving his car for him. And he always said to me, just make sure that you don't go beyond the town limits because I can look after you there.
Oh my
and I was
God.
like, oh, it's the mafia.
That's cool.
I'm in the mafia.
That's so
I don't know if I
cool.
was in the mafia, but,
That's
but it was
Probably.
it was such a it was a defining experience because I also remember going back to uni for the 3rd year, and I remember now having a pool to work, not to study.
Yeah.
So I remember thinking, right, this is definitely, I'm not going to stay on for an
Yeah.
honours year. I'm going to do my 3rd year
Yeah.
and then get into the workforce because I really enjoyed it. I definitely grew up in 6 months. Sorry, not 6 months, 3 months, like that. So really defining experience. And I always say to anybody who has the opportunity to do anything like that is just throw yourself into it.
Yeah.
There's no real downside.
Yeah, I agree that and it is anything, but even just from my experience, just learning that language has just been just having the opportunity to do that as well has just been great for me, and just I agree. It's funny how our journeys have been very, very similar in that respect. But
and then ASK.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not finished.
Okay. Yeah.
ASK in Southampton. Because we used to go in and out of Southampton with the ship. That is where my wife and I had our first UK date.
Way.
It was a lunch because we both had time off when we were doing a turnaround day. We went for a lazy lunch and then went back to the ship.
Do you remember what you had to eat?
Pasta.
Oh, I just remember some of the things on the menu.
I remember we had Valpolicella wine.
Oh, Valpolicella,
yeah. I remember that because she'd never had it. And,
how funny.
And it's funny that stuff you remember.
Oh my gosh, isn't that what a small world? Yeah, that was busy, that one. Yeah.
And to your point, really, around the spaces that they would create, stunning space.
Yeah, Adam and Sam were just very, very clever, and yet they spent a lot of money on them. They really did, and they just found beautiful buildings. It was all about when you look at the building in Winchester and Brighton and all those and even the ones in London were always just beautiful buildings. Super interesting. But that was I was hooked then. That was kind of it, and we just had the best time.
And you were on the management track now.
Yes.
At this point.
So and Mr. Omar he came on board. So he was he'd worked with Philip Kay, who was probably one of the most original famous restaurateurs around. That was Deep Pan Pizza and Garfunkel's, and Omar had worked with him, and so they'd taken on Mr. Omar to expand ASK outside London. And so we kind of worked with Mr. Omar. We called him that. It's funny, but that's who we kind of we'd have a lot of like Adam and Sam Kay were fully involved in it, and we'd have a lot of contact with them. But ultimately, just the expansion outside of London was with Mr. Omar initially, which was amazing. And he was kind of like it was like a second dad. Like he was invited to our wedding. We know his children, and like even occasionally now, I haven't spoken to him for a long time, but there's times where I was in Planet Organic in Queen's Park, and they live around the corner, and his daughter came in, Sarah, and I was like, oh my God, then he came in to see me, and it's just, I got quite emotional when I saw him actually. I did actually start, I don't know why I started crying, it made me cry now, because it was such an...
It wouldn't be the first time on the show,
No, but I do feel emotional because it was such an important part. Like he was so amazing and as were Adam and Sam, but particularly him. And actually, my friend Jo, who had started at the same time as a manager in Canterbury when I graduated, she had started as a manager. So she was my boss really to start with. But I'd actually gone to school with her, so we'd gone to school together at Simon Langton Girls' School. We weren't in the kind of same friendship group, and she's now one of my best friends. Like she's incredible. And actually, her and her husband, who was also worked for ASK and Prezzo, the K's, so Jonathan Kay, they've got their own restaurant in Hove now, and which is an amazing brunch restaurant called Joe & Co, and it's just flying. They're just incredible. But yeah, the reason why I said that, so we worked together, and Omar was like he was like our second dad, and he was just there always for us, and he went to Joe's wedding. It was just such an amazing like family, and we just worked together, and that's it, and we just loved it. Like, we just absolutely loved it. We had the best time, and we just worked so hard. I don't know.
I think this is something that is gloriously unique to this industry.
Yeah.
I have this discussion with many of my mates who are out of industry who like, I have lifelong friends that some people would maybe call it trauma bonding, but when you do, like, you just work your backside off together.
Yeah.
You live and die together.
Yeah.
And you're doing a new opening or something like that, and everybody's just working far too many hours.
Yeah.
But you want to, because you're kind of also kind of loving it, and you don't want to let them down. They don't want to let you down, and it's this just reciprocating thing that you can't help but build really strong bonds with people in that moment.
Yeah, and I think it's I mean, I met my husband. He was. He was like the exec chef at Ask and Zizi's and helped develop the Zizi's menu. He's, we met there. Yeah. It's like, and Jo Fleet, she was my boss. Obviously, when Omar left and I kind of moved into London, and she became managing director, CEO, and she's one of my closest friends. I'm doing presentation with her at the Propel Female Leaders. Like we are such a this is 30 years of friendship. It's amazing. And that's what the industry does. I agree, and that's why I get emotional about it, because it's just been there's so many things in my life. That's how I've met my friends, my husband. Like, my friends have met the husband. It's amazing. Yeah.
And also, I think there's Mr. Omar as well. Like, it obviously has played such a massive, such a pivotal point in your career, right? Yeah. Imagine a scenario where you go into that environment and you're working for an arsehole. Yeah. It's a very different. Yeah. But your career takes on a very different trajectory. Yeah. So I don't think we place enough emphasis on the importance of that first experience. Yeah. Because it can be defining for people.
Yeah, and actually Jo Fleet and I, so obviously two Joes, have been talking about this, because we're talking about impact, resilience and confidence in this presentation that we're doing. And we were talking about going back to the early days and why was Ask so, why was it? What was it that just made it? And it was the Omar was essentially kind of like one of the founders. Like, it was how they treated you, the trust, absolutely believing you, having that that close kind of relationship with the founders and Adam and Sam Kay, and then asking your opinion, making sure that you felt really supported and trusted and believed in. And also, we didn't really know what we were doing at the time, and we were just really finding out as we went along. And it was, we had this amazing concept, and suddenly we were just opening on the high streets, and they were busy, and we were like, oh gosh, what are we doing now? And how we played a part in developing that. And interestingly enough, we look at it now and think, we were doing a lot of stock take on triplicate paper. There was none of that. No, but you can think about it now. So now when I go to the guys, they're like, well, I haven't finished my stock count by 12 o'clock. I'm like, guys, we're still on triplicate on paper, work out our variances, and I'd still be finished by 10 o'clock. Yeah. So, but then interestingly, Adam had spoken to Andrew Fleet, Jo Fleet's husband, and said, we need to develop a stock system. So this is kind of really, pivotal in that kind of journey for tech. We're talking about tech. And he then created Red Pepper. I don't know whether everyone remembers it, but it's a stock system. So obviously, as any stock sim, everything was digitalized. So you'd upload everything, and it would do your recipes for it, calculate your variance. So it was just obviously what we know today is just so much more advanced. And then that's what we rolled out across Ask and Zizi's, and obviously it just helped us manage all our stocks, our system, ordering everything. It just meant we took it off, this triplicate paper that we used to literally just count how many Valpolicella are we missing, how many do we have delivered, and then that turned into contracts. So Red Pepper was sold into contracts. So he was kind of like one of the first people to implement those stock systems. So kind of being part of that is pretty cool as well, isn't it, really? Yeah, totally. And I look back now, and then just all of those things, and POS systems, and, just looking at compliance, you think, in the early days, there was none of that. Like, what's a date label? It was like, I don't know about you, but you look now and you just think, gosh, how?
I know. And I think about my kind of start in the world of hospitality really being on cruise ships. Yeah. And I joined at a time where tech had not long been implemented. You know? So and I used to talk to the bar managers around about how the hell did you do this before systems would support you? And he said, well, there was quite a lot of jiggery poker used to go on, and quite a lot of transactional, what's the word? Creativity. Some of the things that he used to tell me about, and he said the thing that you would always look at is the captain of a ship is the number one on board. He is the ruler of everything and all departments. So everybody reports into them. And they would arrive to the ship in a Volvo or something like that, and then you'd look at the bar manager and they were arriving in a Porsche or something like that, and he would tell me about some of the things that they would do.
No,
like
so
because we'd go to somewhere like Gibraltar and you'd be able to get duty-free alcohol, so they were like literally swapping out alcohol and pocketing the difference.
Oh my God.
And I was like, it's quite, so systems are essential as well to stop humans being humans.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, but why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Fun and games.
gosh.
But yeah, but I think as well the point, and we were speaking before we turned, well, the microphone was on, I think as well, but around that initial phase for me on ships, coming back to the point around building resilience and support, is I made really quick progress at sea. Literally, purely the only thing I can put it down to is because I loved what I was doing and I had a great attitude.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing.
Yeah.
But people saw that and were going, well, he deserves a lift. Let's give him a promotion.
Yeah.
So I spent 5 years of my career being out of my depth.
Yeah.
But I was supported
Yeah.
daily by amazing people who let me make mistakes, who would not lambast me for doing it, who wanted me to, use your brain and go out and you make the decision.
Yeah.
I'll ask for forgiveness rather than permission, kind of thing. And it still blows my mind that an environment like that was highly professional, that they would give a young kid like me that kind of rope to go and learn.
I think, honestly, it's so strange how our, experiences are so similar, because that's what, we were there. Like, so Joe and I we went and opened Park Street, had no idea what we were doing, like to the extent where, everyone said, well, where's our wages? And we were like, what do you mean, where's your wages? And they were like, we haven't been paid. And I was like, what? We got to fill a timesheet out? What's this about?
We got to do that.
No, these things happen. We were learning, but and then it was exactly the same. We just worked hard. We got noticed, and then we went from very quickly. Both got promoted to area manager roles, and we just went around the country just opening, and we stayed where we needed to stay, and it was just brilliant. But every time we were like, oh my God, like we hadn't quite, we didn't know what we were doing. We were making mistakes along the way, and things were happening, but there was a huge amount of trust and support there, and the business was growing, the business was learning as it went. It was a new business, so we were learning how to. I don't know, how, like, people would just create their own specials, for example, and, the managers would just call the specials after themselves. Like, I remember we had a manager in Reigate called, his name was James Boyd, and funny enough, he messaged me the other day, really sweet message. I'm going off on a tangent now, this is my yellow coming out. So James Boyd, Boydie, and we used to call him Boydie. And I'll tell you about the message he messaged me in a minute. But he used to, he'd go, Boydie carbonara or something random like that. And we're like, how do we allow these specials? And they'd be on the chalkboard. So it was all very, you look now and think, oh God, you've got to have them signed off, and allergens and recipe, all of these things. It's so different. But obviously you started to professionalise as you grew, and then you got, specs were created, and then there was the proper, cadence of, MPD and specials. But it was funny just looking back at that time. But it was just great. People loved it. And also it was, we were really great at what we did. We were just brilliant. I'm telling you now, our customers loved us, and we just had such a great reputation, and that was definitely came from above, from Adam and Sam, Omar, all of us. And just, Roland talks now about our commitment to excellence, operational excellence, elevated experience, and that's definitely in those days, that's what Ask, and then obviously soon after ZZ's was correct. That's what it was about. And we somehow, people say, so, when I left, I don't know how many it was, 150, 60, so from 3 to kind of 160. We never lost that. And it scaled. Like, I never felt in any of, I can't remember how many were up. Maybe there was like 50 or 60 in my ops area at the time, because obviously then we got promoted to ops manager, ops director. It was brilliant. Like, I knew that the service was just great, and the people that we hired were just living our values. Everything was there, and that definitely came from the Ks, and how they just managed to make sure that it just felt that everything was individual, and that definitely came from them and their vision, and how they made sure that vision was cascaded across the business.
Yeah.
And I feel very, very, very lucky to have been part of that. And yeah, my learning was it was a very quick curve and a lot of mistakes. And I look back now and I wouldn't have done it any differently.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. How do you feel like it was?
Totally. Like you, I'm just so grateful and feel very lucky that I worked with a group of people that I did.
Yeah.
Who definitely saw something in me that I did not see in myself at the time.
Yeah.
Helped bring that out a little bit. And I think as well, I think about some of these amazing human beings. Like they're part of your identity in the end. Who do I become if I had not been exposed to these people?
Yeah.
It's a question I'm quite a deep thinker about. I go down so many rabbit holes, it's unbelievable. But it's the sort of thing that's the sort of thing that keeps me awake at night.
Yeah.
Because that also keeps me humble to my, and present to what's going on. Because I think that's massively important, and especially in business as well. You have to be present to those that are around you, right? What do they need from you? And I'm guessing that's very important as an MD in the business as well, is that you've got to be present for what people need.
Yeah, and I think actually just going back to that Boydie comment, what you say is so relevant. So he messaged me probably a month ago, just out the blue. He occasionally messaged me because I ended up staying in just outside Reigate. So we lived in the flat up the ASK. It is ASK or ASK, by the way. I say ASK because Adam and Sam K, so you can say either.
Okay.
So I lived above the ASK. I
have noticed you've been flitted in and out.
I do, ASK, ASK.
That's like me being Scottish or British, depending on what is needed.
Yeah, exactly. And we lived in the flat above there, and actually Boydie was from Reigate. So because I still live around there, we've stayed in contact. And he messaged me, and on the message, it was really out of the blue, and it was like, he just said, I just want you to know that you're making me get emotional. That working with you in ASK has really shaped my life. I look back and it's really changed and had a huge impact on the person I am today and the career, because he does a lot of sound engineering and lighting, and he's got a family. And he said, I just want you to know that those years that I worked in ASK as a manager and worked with you have shaped who I am now. Okay. I was just like, wow, like you don't realise the impact that had, and it just really, I don't know, it almost made me cry, and I was like, oh my gosh. And he'd obviously, thought about it. I was like, are you drunk? And he was like, no, I'm not. I just want you to know what impact that had on my life and what you, as being, my manager, my leader.
Yeah.
And so I think I do feel very responsible as managing director of this business. And for me, everything is about people. Everything. Vision's irrelevant without great people. I say it all the time. It's building teams around you. And actually, I had a real reflection on Tuesday where we had an off-site strategy day, 8 hours out, looking, working on the business, looking back at the quarter, and then setting goals for the next quarter. And actually, I looked at us as a team, as a senior leadership team, and I was like, oh my God, listen, there's challenges. I'm not sitting here going that we haven't got challenges as WatchHouse. We might be growing, but we have the same challenges that everyone else has got, decreasing margins, like-for-like sales, the business growing. How do we make sure we grow, that growth is sustainable, all of those things that we're going through. But I actually looked at the team and I just thought we are really functional as a team. Like as a team together, this is it's like healthy challenge. We're focusing on the right things. We're all for the greater good. No one's, everyone's owning the issues in the business. And I look back to 3.5 years ago, and it was funny on the reflection. I think, oh my gosh, it's like night and day. It was, and I'll be open and honest, it was dysfunctional. It wasn't, no one was working together. No one was understanding what the vision was. Everyone was sort of pivoting in different directions. And so that people piece, getting the right people and leading those people in the right way, I feel really proud of that. And actually that has definitely, my whole career going back to 30 years ago, has definitely shaped who I am today. And listen, I make mistakes all the time, but it's about owning them and knowing that we're all human, I think.
For sure. Yeah. I think you learn more from people who are open with their mistakes than you do the people who try to sweep them under the carpet,
100%.
Right? And while we're on the subject of mistakes, there is something I'd love to discuss with you, which is what I'm going to refer to as Doughball Gate.
Oh, God.
Which is still in ASK, as I remember, as I recall correctly. So, so we can maybe use this to draw a line under that part of your journey before we move on to the next.
Yeah.
But yes, talk to me about dough balls.
Oh my God.
Which is something I never thought I'd say on in any environment. But
so I think obviously the challenge was, so we had a central kitchen in London that was making our dough balls. So you'd obviously get your dough balls delivered, and then they would prove overnight. And obviously, they were amazing pizzas. It was stone baked pizzas. It was obviously, we were doing something different. A Pizza Express were doing, but I think, ASK was doing it brilliantly. And so you'd have to order your dough balls from the CPU, and they'd come in boxes, frozen dough balls. And God knows what happened when we opened Park Street. We just ordered so many, like they literally wouldn't stop coming. And obviously you've got this van, you can't do anything, you can't send them back. I was like, oh my God, where am I going to put them? So we filled all our freezers in the restaurant, and then we literally had to go down Park Street and go, please, can we borrow your freezer, can we borrow your freezer? And so the whole way down Park Street, we had dough balls in people's freezers.
Like not just like anyone who had a freezer space.
Anyone. We were like, oh my God, like we literally will give you, we were like borrowing stealing, and it was like, oh my God, we've messed up so badly. And literally it was Joe and I, we'd both done it. We were like, what the hell, how have we done this? I don't know, maybe we put an extra naught on it or something, I don't remember.
Right.
But yeah, that was,
your food cost that month was a little extreme.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'll never forget that. Yeah, that was a moment. Yeah.
You needed to create a special that was, I don't know, Ottoy's Osteria pizza.
Oh God, no,
like
just give away free pizza.
Yeah, but do you know what? I just love stuff like that, because that's so human.
Oh my God, it is, isn't it? Right?
And it just happens.
Yeah.
And nobody does these things on purpose,
no,
right? You
exactly.
think, at least, as long as the intention was to do the right thing.
It definitely was.
And mistakes happen.
Yeah.
Then what can you do? You've just got to run with it and problem solve what happens.
Oh, funny.
And you did.
Yeah, loads more. That was definitely something I remember.
And you were flush for dough balls for some
time.
Yeah,
we were good for dough balls. Good job. It was busy. I'm sure we sold them all eventually, but.
5-star hospitality means having the right people in the right place at the right time, and that's exactly where RotaCloud can help. RotaCloud is the online platform that makes planning rotas, recording attendance, and managing annual leave easy. Its simple, drag-and-drop interface lets you create and share rotas with your team in minutes, while our built-in budgeting tools mean you'll know exactly how much you're spending on staffing before sending the rota out. RotaCloud also makes life easier for your staff, allowing them to check their rotas, request time off, and pick up extra shifts, all through the RotaCloud mobile app. Start your 30-day free trial today by visiting rotacloud.com/Phil and find out how much easier managing your team can be.
Brilliant. Right, so let's move on.
Yes.
What happened after ASK?
So after ASK, Adam and Sam sold to Capricorn. So that was Robbie from Nando's and Jonah Reardon. That's when I met Jonah Reardon from Capricorn. They came on board. Adam and Sam stayed on board with them. So we all stayed around, and then we sold again to another VC, Sinvin, I think it was. And at that time, Adam and Sam left, and Sam had got already involved in a brand called Dim Tea, which became Tasty. So Dim Tea, they had a dim sum restaurant in Hampstead, and they'd bought it, so hand-rolled dim sum and Pan-Asian food. And then they asked me to come over and pretty much do the same thing that they'd done with Ask and Grow the Business. So came over, there was Dim Tea to start with, so came over as operations, I think it was operations manager or operations director at the time, I can't remember. And yeah, we obviously started to grow Dim Tea. It was a great experience. Did loads of work from like redesigned the menu, brought on a really great an Asian chef. He was brilliant. He was Mr. Malaysia. I remember him, Lim Van Lee, if he's listening. He's amazing. He was like this. He was literally Mr. Malaysia. So he was
a unit.
Yeah, he was great, but brilliant chef. And we went and we just created a really great menu. Actually, redesigned it. I got really involved in that. Actually, I'm really proud of what we did there, because actually I feel it was slightly complicated, and I think we just really elevated it. And then we rolled out Dim Tea, and then Sam wanted to create something similar to Ziz's again and created Wildwood. So that was a bit like, I suppose at the time, it was a bit like Jamie's Italian / Zzz's, and obviously they're still going now, Wildwood and
Yeah.
DMT. And so we started rolling out Wildwood. So went a bit faster with Wildwood because it was more, I suppose, mainstream to roll out across the country, whereas DMT was, we did one in Winchester, outside of London. I can't remember where the other one, there was another one in not far from Winchester that we did, but mainly in London. That the big one, the busy one was at More London, which is now Five Guys actually. That was really, really busy, like 2 floors, super, super great location. So did that for, can't even remember how many years now. Another maybe like 8, 9 years or something like that, maybe.
Right, yeah.
And then obviously felt to the stage where, I'd got as far as I could probably get in my career in that brand, and the expansion had slowed down a bit. So, had a chat with them and we decided I was going to go on and explore other opportunities. And it was strange actually, because it was like, Sam was like, oh my God, it's like we're like breaking up like marriage, because obviously like it's been more
years.
So it was very emotional. But actually I kind of needed to do it, and then wanted to get into. I wanted to maybe get into quick service or retail, and actually that's when I actually got offered another job before that. But then Planet Organic sort of approached me and said that we've got this really great opportunity, we think you'd be great for it. And I met them and I was like, oh my God, this is great. And I've always
Such a great brand.
Brilliant, amazing. Yeah. And actually Peter Marsh, the CEO at the time, and Renee was there at the time, the founder. And obviously I'm always been into fitness. I'm a Barry's Bootcamp fan, one Red Bull, and obviously for me, for anyone that knows the brand Erewhon, which is in America, mainly in LA, which a smoothie is like $20, and it's just the most beautiful shop. That's kind of what Planet Organic was always aspiring to be, but also was kind of that lifestyle brand, food, everything, just sustainability, organic. I'm all about that. So for me, I was like, oh my God, this is just amazing.
Yeah.
And then did that for another sort of 7 years or whatever. I started as actually food service director, as they had sort of 30 to 40% of their business was food to go. Like it was crazy. Like, the amount, like the one in Tottenham Court Road, the actual food counter, food like coffee, smoothies, and mix and match, salads and hot food. That was doing about 25 grand a week, just that food counter.
That's
so it was
madness. I know. I had not even contemplated what the business mix would be in that business.
Mad.
It's that's incredible.
Yeah, and so that was super interesting. And obviously we had a central kitchen. So they wanted someone to really come in and just sort of put process in place. I ended up putting new coffee machines in, getting new coffee blend in, training baristas, and working on our like smoothies and just making sure that we had recipe specs. Looking, there was a model where it was like mix and match, and it is quite hard to control that because people are filling bowls and a small, medium, like what does that look like, and just standardising the central kitchen, and so loads and loads of stuff around process and training, which was great, and actually really understanding what our food costs were we making money, how do we drive sales, all of those things. And then learnt loads about the grab and go and the retail side, because also we developed our own ready meals, we developed our own grab and go range. So that was really a great experience. Also then kind of coming out of restaurants and then going into like a grab and go environment, you're looking at, like, you're managing wastage. And obviously when you look at retail, not on the food service side, but on the retail side, the margins are so much smaller than they are in restaurants. So, when you think about a restaurant margin, you're looking at, 70 to 80% margin on a meal or whatever. But you go into retail and it's like 20, 30%, it's a decent margin. You're like, what? So it's kind of it, but obviously it's a completely different, environment in terms of the labour involved in selling a sandwich on a grab and go is different than selling, a restaurant made meal. So it was just learning that, and I learnt loads, and then actually went through COVID with them. Massive learning experience. Really,
that was a fun time, wasn't it?
Oh my God! But also because we just were like, we didn't shut.
Right.
Because we were a supermarket.
Of course, yes. Yeah,
so for us, it was like, so it literally happened, and I was like, right, what does this mean for us? So we just stayed open, and literally overnight, so we had a small e-commerce business. It just quadrupled overnight, and because obviously everyone was like, right, I just need to order everything from Planet Organic, and we had to shut it down overnight because we couldn't cope. And then in the Westbourne Grove store, we ended up, because we couldn't have anyone eating in or anything, we actually ended up closing down the food to go, and the rest, we had seating there, and we hoarded it all up and put our e-commerce, more computers, desks, everything, and reopened the e-commerce. And obviously that just went crazy, and we just sort of set it up for success. And that's kind of how, obviously the stores were still trading, but that's kind of how we sort of pivoted overnight. But what I just felt like, that was a real kind of moment for me, because I feel like I'm quite a good leader in that situation. I'm really good under stress. I can deal with it. I'm very resilient. And so I just was like, right, we need to get our shit together. And there was no Zoom, anything. So I was like, I actually was like, right, we're having COBRA committees, because obviously that was happening in the government every morning. So I got everyone on a call. I remember in the boardroom, we had a phone in the middle of the boardroom, like a speakerphone. And I got everyone, like all the store managers, and anyone, senior team, executive team, just said, right, this is what's happening today. Because every day it was changing. So can we open? What do we do? Can the team work? What do we need to do? Do they wear masks? Do they not wear masks? So every day it was changing. You have to put stickers down, distancing. Like all of these different things were coming in, so that it was almost like every day. So every morning I had a call, and at the end of every day I sent them a comms out to the team, and like a newsletter form saying, this is what's happening today, this is what we're doing. And yeah, we kind of just managed it through that, and just made sure that we were all aligned and had this communication sort of every day. And then it almost sort of became a bit of the norm. But it was really difficult times, because we had, people fighting over pasta. We had to then understand how do we stop people coming in and taking all the shelves, like toilet paper, everything. It was very difficult to kind of control customer expectations, but also the team were then, we don't feel comfortable working, so then some people wanted to be furloughed, so you did. That was a crazy time,
wasn't it? Just but you kind of, just that little snapshot of the look into that time for you is indicative of the time. I mean, it was a changeable, almost by day scenario. And I remember my own mood with that day one when Bojo said, right, we're going to shut everything down. This sounds really hellish when I say this out loud, but there was a part of me that went, oh, well, this is interesting. I've not had this before. Like almost a little bit excited about, something new to kind of figure out. And I genuinely on day one had excitement with what was going on.
Did you?
I'm really, really sorry for anybody out there who's listening to this and hates Phil because of that. But don't worry, it didn't last very long. Literally the next morning I woke up and went, oh my God, what is going on? And I realised that excitement that I'd had was because I'm geared up. I'm the shiny new thing guy, so and I know that about myself. So when there's something new, I'm always like, what could this be? Then the reality kicked in, and I realised that I hadn't checked in with any of my mates, and I didn't know how anybody that I cared about was affected by this thing that was going on. But the ability to hospitality showed its mettle in that time. Maybe one of the toughest times in existence as hospitality businesses. But so many companies were able to
pivot,
and do something different, because probably born out of necessity more than anything else.
It was interesting actually as well, because I was with Phil he was at Honest Burgers at the time, and he Eels. Why did I? That's I know his surname. And I remember we just had some. I think he'd set, because he's really good at set. There was some sort of committee or something had happened just before we'd gone into lockdown. I remember meeting. There was loads of us. I can't remember what it was, but we were maybe talking about something to do with the industry, and then we were like, what it started. We were sort of, what's this all about? And then I remember when it happened, I was like, look, anyone, like I can employ everyone. Like you got people. I said to Phil, like if you've got people that want to work, because we didn't have furlough at the time. I was like, we need people, because we were just really, really busy. Come and work in our e-com. And so literally I was at the stage and Phil was like, that's great, I've got great people. I was like, bring them on. Then literally overnight, then furlough came in. So that was quite, like as an industry, we want to help each other out as well. So that was, I think you're right. It actually shows how resilient we are as an industry, but always wanting to do the right thing.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things that are easier to see in retrospect, aren't they? I think the thing is as well is it was such a high stress pressure moment for it, notwithstanding the health issue. But a lot of health comes on the back of the economy being in a good place as well. And when that's taken away, it affects so much more than just the health associated with whatever COVID brought. But all of the other things that took their toll and probably we're still recovering from.
Just people's change in habits and all of those things, and how do you adapt to that? And that's definitely still there. It's definitely still. We know, the Monday and Friday thing is still not in London, is it? Really?
No,
it's
those
are
twats now, haven't we?
Sorry,
We've got twats now.
Oh my God!
I'm actually just I'm a TT, so I'm a Tuesday Thursday.
Yeah.
But I come in all sorts of days.
Yeah, but it's still like Mondays and Fridays are our quietest days in that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what popped into my head when you were talking about Cobra meetings? My brain always goes to, how could we rebrand stuff so it's more hospitality? And my brain literally went off and did that while we were talking, by the way.
Oh, did it?
And so I've come to the conclusion that we should have Mamba meetings rather than Cobra, because the black mamba is the fastest snake alive.
Oh,
and I'm only obsessed with snakes because I'm petrified of them. So I've watched every documentary under the sun on snakes in order to try and understand my fear more. All it's done is cement the fear. But mambas are the fastest snake alive. They are also the most aggressive, so they will literally seek out trouble.
Oh my God!
Rather than being cowardly like most other snakes.
Yeah.
So their front foot, even though they don't have feet, snakes. So I'm like, that's a better crisis meeting.
That.
Let's have Mamba meetings.
Okay.
Plus, it's also very close to Mambo, isn't it?
Let's hope.
Mambo number 5.
Yeah, let's hope that we don't have to have that again. But if we do, that's what I'm going to call my crisis meeting. Yeah. I love it.
Anyway, that's a bit of a digression point, but in any case,
love it.
So I cannot begin to imagine the learning through that phase, especially because on the one hand, you had to step up within that company as well in that time. So and that's definitely, it was a note that I made around it. I really wanted to talk to you about like the concept of stepping up.
Yes.
Because you mentioned earlier on, I can't remember, I think this was off microphone, but we were talking about public speaking and actually putting yourself out of your comfort zone to do that. And but there's still this little voice that goes off in the head that says, why are you here? You can't do this.
Yeah, imposter syndrome, yeah.
Have you had that through your career in terms of when you've been in a position whereby you've been asked to step up? Because people handle this in so many different ways. I'm very fascinated to learn about how you handle that.
Yeah, I think similar to you, I've always worked hard and just said yes to everything. So I've always probably just been naturally asked to step up. But I think probably in that situation in Planet Organic, I just felt like I just took the lead naturally, because I just thought, right, we need to get on with this.
Yeah. What choice do you have?
Sorry.
What choice do you have?
Yeah, and because I just think naturally I don't I don't shy away from. I don't go into panic mode. I kind of just go into like, right, I'm just going to get this done, and I'm quite good in. I'm probably more of a reactive leader sometimes. I've learnt to be that, and I think actually I'm now conscious of that. So now actually I'm very conscious about making sure that I am more process driven and proactive and much more, colour, go into my blue side, management blue, much more than my yellow. But I'm good at being reactive. So yeah, I mean I got asked to step up, but I think I just naturally stepped up because it was natural and it felt right, and then everyone just took my lead because I was like, right, this is what we're doing, and everyone was like, okay, Caroline, what we're doing. So that felt quite comfortable, and then there was trust in that, and then from that, I mean, obviously they asked me to join the board officially in Planet Organic, and I got recognised, and I think I got promoted, and I think because of other things as well, my performance, but probably because I just showed leadership in that moment maybe. But I've definitely learned a lot from that, but I've learned a lot since that about myself as a leader. Yeah. And that's through coaching. I was very lucky. A new CEO actually came into Planet Organic at the later stage, a guy called George Diamond, and he then invested in coaching for me, and actually someone that he was coached in. He was ex-Holland and Barrett, and I ended up doing probably 12 months with this coach, a bit like a one-to-one business coach, and it was great. Like, it was a really defining moment for me to understand how I could be a better version of myself, I suppose, if that's right. And actually, I remember him saying to me, he was like, you need to cross the bridge, and that you need to understand how you cross the bridge. And he's like, you won't understand what that means yet, but if you cross the bridge and you can do it, you will understand it. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I've got no idea. And it's so weird. And now I understand it because I've crossed that bridge, because I was unconsciously unconscious of my, I suppose, personality style, leadership style, colours. He did it through insights.
Yeah.
And then you become consciously unconscious and you become consciously conscious. So now I really understand how to get the best out of myself and my team, and I understand how I can manage people, lead people better, but also understand how I can build teams that work well together, because you can't have a load of blues or people that are just, all process driven. You've got to have people that are, we've also done Colby as a team as well. So some are quick starts, some are fact finders, some are simplifiers, but you need a combination of people. So I think that's been a real part of my leadership journey, but actually stepping up. I think stepping up doesn't frighten me, but I'm still now, as you said, about this imposter syndrome, and as you grow in your role and become, as managing director now, you get asked to do more stage events, talks, podcast panels, and all of those things. And I was petrified of them at the beginning. I thought, oh my God, I'm absolutely awful. Everyone's so much better than me. And I have to say, there's a few people that have been the most amazing cheerleaders for me. Marta from Gales is an incredible woman, so generous with her time, and obviously just so exceptional in what she's done in her career. I actually, before I joined WatchHouse, I'd met her, and actually I remember sitting with her in Reigate Gales. We'd met for a coffee because they'd just opened there, and I was saying, she said, let's meet for a coffee. And I was talking to her about the WatchHouse offer that I'd had, and I was like, can I do this? And she was like, absolutely, you will be brilliant for it. You're absolutely brilliant. And she just made me feel like I could do it. And so she's been hugely instrumental. And Jo Flea, again, she's always been a cheerleader, made me realise that I can have kids and have a career. I'm not going to get judged. It is possible. Like Jo has got 2 children. She had Amy, obviously, then Amy's, 5 years older than my eldest. And then I thought, oh my God, if Jo can do it, I can do it. Like, she's shown me that I can do both. I can do it, and I can do it well. So she's been a huge friend and mentor in my journey. And then Shireen as well, Shireen Ritchie, the biggest cheerleader, has just put me forward for things and gone, she's like, Caroline will do it. And I'm like, oh, because obviously you hear Shireen on stage and she's so incredible. Yeah. She's so natural. And I could never, I could never be that person. But she's literally just given me no choice. She's like, yeah, Caroline can do it. And just made me feel like she's gone, you can do it, Caroline. And so I think for me, those people and those people that cheerlead you and make you feel that you can do something has been amazing for me. And listen, I still go on stage. I'm not brilliant. I'm not perfect. That's not my, I don't know, it's not my natural space, but it's made me be better. It's made me start getting my teams to do it and understand how important that is. And just building my network from that has been incredible. I've got the most amazing network of people I can call and lean on. Yeah, look at this.
Indeed.
So
we didn't know each other before we did a panel.
Yeah, exactly.
Earlier this year.
Sorry, I just get talking away about them.
No, not at all. I love that, and also, you definitely do yourself a misservice, because I thought our panel was epic earlier this year.
Good.
And this is, I don't think, if you're somebody who's got like a tiny bit of humility about you, I don't think you'll ever be comfortable with somebody saying that you're great at something. Because I get people. This is not me blowing smoke up my own backside, but I get people tell me that I'm a brilliant moderator, and I think I'm terrible.
No, well, you're great.
And that's the thing, is that I hope I never change. In fact, I hope I don't believe that. Yeah. I don't want to believe that I'm brilliant, because I think at some point maybe then it's that old, you start believing your own press, and that's the beginning of the end. Yeah. No, you're right, and it's being authentic, isn't it? And I think I agree with that, and I think you're right, and you're natural at that, and the panel was great, and it was great, and I've got closer to Gemma because of that, and Marcel. It's really, you meet these amazing people, and now I've really connected with them. Now they're becoming part of my friends and network. And then you facilitate that. That was an epic panel. Just brilliant characters and actually. One of the things I wanted to speak to you about was EOS, because you actually brought it up on that panel as well, and it was the first time outside of our own organisation that we'd heard those words mentioned, and it was just really great to hear somebody who's taken a very powerful framework actually to be able to run a business, because it's pretty pragmatic. It allows you to put the best people in the or certainly see where the best people should be in the seats that they should be.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's having a really interesting impact on your business. And for clarity, I'm not affiliated with the industry, with that company in any way, shape or form. So I'm singing its praises from afar.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, EOS has been, I'd say it's been the single most powerful thing in our business. I think it's the thing that has got us where we are today. Yeah, very proud of that. I mean, I think you've got to want to do it, and it's very much like, especially for me, you know, working in an entrepreneurial-led business. That's what it's for, entrepreneurial operating system.
Yeah,
it's perfect, but you've got to have that entrepreneur, that, you know, the founder, the visionary, the CEO. They've got to want to do it. And luckily, you know, Roland he was brilliant. Like, but you know, when I started talking to him, I gave him the book, Get a Grip. So I read the book, and he was like, "Oh my God, I love it." And he just was starting to try and kind of self-implement. And I'd already met an EOS implementer, the one that we use now, Julia, when I was at Planet Organic, and I really wanted to do it, but we didn't all agree as a senior leadership team.
Right.
So I kind of kept in touch with her, and then Roland was like, "This just sounds perfect," and so he bought into it, and then she came and did a little first 90-minute meeting, and then we all agreed as a team to do it, and massive journey. I think it took us. I think to get into a really good position, I think it probably took us 2 years to really turn the business around in terms of what it meant to really go and be able to deliver. I think it gives investors confidence. We use it in our board meetings. The vision piece is so important. We have now got use of systems. Actually, teams have been amazing. We use Slack, and actually everybody in our business has a ROC, which is a goal. Is anyone knows EOS? So you can walk into one of our houses, and I did it the other day, actually. I tested it because I was talking to someone about it. I went up to the Bristol in Fitzrovia and I said, "What's your ROC this quarter?" Got it up on his Slack, showed me what his ROC was.
Nice.
And I was like, "Oh my God, that's so good." I was like, "Tell me, you know, what's our 3-year picture? You know, how many houses are we going to have in 10 years? And it's great. They know it. Like, what's our, you know, core values have been the strongest, I think, tool we've had. Hiring, firing, appraising, rewarding around our core values has just been the most impactful thing we've done, and culturally across to the US and with our franchise partner. So selecting franchise partner through our core values. It's just, listen, you've got to want to do it. And I think you've got to want to do it in a pure way. I think if you half do it, it doesn't quite work. So, and I'm lucky enough to make sure that everyone, sometimes it's taken some of the leaders to be like, you're not quite on board with this EOS. And then it's for me is that integrator just to make sure they understand why it works. And then, going and having offsites like we did 2 days ago just proves how amazing it is and how you can have a really great functional team, a highly functioning team because of it. Yeah.
It's so, that time away is so valuable,
Yes.
I've found. And actually, I'd made a note from your notes around that. You'd kind of raised the point around like having time away from the business.
Yeah.
So that you're not in the business,
Working
like you're
on
not
the business.
getting, that you've not got somebody who just not, can I just get 2 minutes of your time?
Yeah.
So you've just got that full clarity and focus for a day. It makes a massive difference.
Phones off, everything. Everyone's just, that's it. You know, you break together, you work together, eat together. It's just very good. Yeah.
And a quarter goes like that, right? So.
Oh my God.
But also in that, it is amazing what you can achieve.
Yeah.
And then you look back and you go, oh my God, like from where we were then to where we are now, look at what we've done, guys.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, you don't sometimes see that.
Yeah, and that's what helps you kind of celebrate. You look at all the issues, but you also celebrate what you've done well.
Yeah.
Which I think is super important. And it do you know what? It just gives you focus. So we came out of it with 5 things that we're going to go after this quarter, and everything else goes into a long-term issues list, and we won't even look at it until next quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hospitality, so things happen, right? Sometimes, you know, you just have to do something that comes up and you don't know it's going to come up and you have to pivot and you make sure that gets done. But ultimately, you can be able to focus on those 5 things and deliver them. And that's, you know, that I think is key. And it just stops the noise. Also, from you know, having a visionary, it also stops, you know, they've got 100 ideas and we're like, no, these are the 5 things we're focusing on this quarter. We're not doing that. We're talking about that, you know, in next quarter.
Yeah.
And that's a really easy conversation to have, whereas before you're like, let's do this, let's do that, or what we're doing, and no one knows what you're focusing on. So it's that's you know, such a powerful tool. Which I love about it. And also me just like being able to have a system to work with helps me immensely, and also the tech that we have. So we use monday.com to use it, and Slack, and monday.com and Slack work really well together for us to make that system work. So that's great for me and my personality and my mind, because it's very structured, everything's there. I can track it. I can monitor my team's performance around it, on track, off track. Are we hit with our numbers? We've got our scorecards and monitoring something every week. It's very good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. So I mentioned earlier on, we'll come back to WatchHouse. We have arrived at that point in your journey anyway, and we've been speaking a little bit about the like EOS and the implementation of that. But you've been here 3.5 years.
Yeah, 3.5 years.
Yeah, and obviously you spoke earlier as well around the fact from where you were then to where you are now is there's just a real sense of clarity around direction, and everybody's knows what they're doing within that and all of that. So what's the future? I mean, you mentioned your 3-year plan is 100 sites.
Yeah.
That's
houses,
I see those figures and I go,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you need the structure in place to make that happen, don't you?
Yeah. But I think that gives you so actually it's less than 3 years now. So it's July 28. We'll have 100 WatchHouses, but that's 40 franchises, 35 UK, 25 US.
Right. Okay.
So
that makes it so much easier then.
Yeah. So we go. So obviously, that franchise growth is going to ramp up. Obviously, we've just signed a second partner, about to sign a third and a fourth, and so that will help us grow. But obviously, that there's a lot to go after there. But that's a great opportunity for us. So I think we're very focused on that 3-year picture and that 3-year plan, and I think we feel we can get there. Well, we can get there. Don't say we feel we can get there. We're going to get there, and we've got a good plan and structure to do that. Got a great pipeline in the US. Got a great property guy over there that's ex Blue Bottle. Roland, obviously, that is his super strength. He's great at finding and negotiating good deals and locations. So there's probably about 16 in the pipeline, 5 all signed and ready to go. 5 more in the US, but sort of 16 in the pipeline in the short term, but a lot more opportunities beyond that. And we'll probably go beyond 35 in the UK because we've got probably another 5 in ready to go in the UK, and then beyond that, more opportunity. We are doing another one in Bath as well, just to sit alongside the one that we do have in Bath, but they're pretty much all in London. So yeah, it
never stops.
Yeah, exciting.
Yeah. No, indeed. There was, I think it's been an absolute joy to spend time with you today. I could spend another 4 hours chatting to you.
Likewise.
But there's something that in your form that really grabbed me. That I was like, you've got the heart of why this show exists.
Yeah.
Is to basically shine a light on this wonderful, wonderful industry.
Yeah.
And I wrote it in my notes just to make sure that we bring this up to discuss or not, or just leave it as a mic drop, whatever. But is that hospitality teaches you every skill under the sun.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you know what? That just captivates perfectly what this industry is. And I'd never, there's so many things that I've spoken to so many people over the years about that particular question. And obviously everybody has their own reason for why this industry is great. It can take you around the world, France, America, whatever. You meet so many amazing people, they shape you as human beings. But actually to kind of just fully encompass it in that one line, that really, I was like, I read that and I went, we're going to have a really nice conversation, I think. Because, you're probably a case in point, right?
Yeah.
In terms of your journey is the summary of exactly that. You've learned so many skills through this industry.
Oh, incredible. And I just want people to realise that. And, young people to realise as well. It's such an amazing industry. And actually, do you know what my son said to my 12-year-old? I've got a 16 and a 12-year-old, and actually my 16-year-old came and did some work experience. But my 12-year-old said to me, I remember it was probably a good few years ago, he was on the phone to one of his, they talk on the phone. And I think he said something like, oh, your mum works in hospitality, that's rubbish, or something like that. And he went, no, it's not. It's brilliant. And my dad used to be a chef, and he's in hospitality, and we go to Soho Farmhouse. I was just like, go on, Charlie. And I just thought, don't diss the hospitality industry, because we've done well from it. My husband and myself have, we've bought a house. We do nice things. We've got, we've worked really, really hard, and we both still work really, really hard. But we've done, it has provided for us and our family, and it's been a great career for both. My husband now has his own business, and for young people to look at it and go, "Oh, your mum and dad work in a cafe,"
Yeah.
Like it's their waitress as well. And I'm like, no, actually. And it was great to hear him go, no, actually, they do brilliantly. My dad has his own business now and we get to go to Soho Farm. I just thought that was a brilliant line. I was like, and it just teaches them, you know, my kids are both, you know, brilliant kids, driven. They know what hard work is, and I'm really proud of them. And if they go on to do whatever they do, they will both be working in hospitality. I'm telling you that, to earn money.
Yeah,
both of them.
So many people have also said it should be national service.
Honestly, I really do believe it.
Yeah, totally. Even if you spent a year in some kind of front-facing position, the learning experience in that year. The 1 year I had on reception working on a cruise ship. By God. By the end of it, you know, timid little kids who is scared to speak to somebody because their toilet doesn't work. You know, by the end of it, then seeking out the troublemakers to turn them around.
Yeah.
You know, that's a life skill. Like, I mean, that's something then that you just take with you wherever you do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I totally agree. And in it's just, everything. So many things that it can teach you. And where it can bring you, you know, especially for me in WatchHouse, we've got so many internal progressions into the support office, into marketing, into creative, into finance. I love it. Like, they've all come from, you know, being a barista or that. And it's just, it brings, I love it. It's very special.
For sure.
Yeah.
It also shows me that we still have a lot of work to do in terms of turning that narrative on its head around. If that's the first reaction that people have when they talk, where is that coming from?
Yeah, from a 12-year-old, right, saying to my son, it's true.
Yeah. So we need to get into the ear of the people who are saying that to the kids.
We do, absolutely.
More to be done. More to be done.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, look, for somebody who started out potentially going at chemistry, it's kind of worked out all right.
Yeah, I know.
But fabulous journey so far. I'm massive fan of the brand. I can't wait to see how it unfolds over the next few years.
Oh, thank you.
Wish you all the very best through this troublesome period in which we find ourselves in.
Thank you.
It'd be nice if leaders got back in their box someday and displayed real leadership capability.
Well, we're in it together, right? We need to, But thank you. Thank you so much. I've loved it. Yeah, really, really, really great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And there we have it. A huge thanks to Caroline for sharing her story, her lessons, and a reminder that none of us really truly know exactly what we're doing. We're all just finding out as we go along. We will of course be back next Wednesday with another amazing story from hospitality, so until then, have an awesome week, and I'll see you then.